So what we are going to go over is market structure. And basically how market structure work is it happens in three different ways. And the first one is the market moving up. Oh, hold on a second. Let me get my tool here. And this is when the market is making higher highs and higher lows. Okay. So again, this is the market moving up. And then we have a market that moves down where it's making lower lows and lower highs in a fashion like this. And then we have the market that moves sideways, which looks something like this. Okay. All right. And so there's really no specific highs or lows. It doesn't have a steady pattern. All right. So going back to the market moving up, having higher highs and higher lows. So it would look something similar to, again, this particular trend right here, the uptrend. Let me pull out this one particular tool. Yeah, I'll just use this one. All right. So for instance, when I say higher highs and higher lows, this right here would be considered a higher high. And then this one would be a higher low. Let me get the tool to highlight it. And then, so this is a higher high because remember this right here is a high. So this high is higher than this high. So it's considered a higher high. And then this particular one would be a higher low because it's higher than this particular low right here. And that's what makes it an uptrend, right? And so for this particular downtrend right here, it's like the opposite of the uptrend. So you have a low here, and then here is a what is this? This is a low, and this is a lower high. And this is a lower low because it's lower than this particular low. And then this is a lower high right here because it's lower than this particular high. And then the cycle, it just continues with, again, a downtrend. Okay. And then we have the consolidation, and it just kind of just is going again sideways. It doesn't necessarily go up, doesn't necessarily go down. Again, it just goes sideways. All right, so let's bring this to a chart. And then let me, hold on a second. I want to measure some of this off. And so what we're going to do next is just identify what the uptrend looks like, as well as the downtrend, the market structure moving down, the market structure moving up, and the market structure moving sideways. So like, for instance, let's just use this particular area right here. The market is moving in this up direction, okay? And so as we were talking about the higher highs and the higher lows, I'm going to circle those. So it'll look something like, here's a high, and then here would be a low, or excuse me, I should say a higher low because it's higher than this particular low right here. And then we have a higher high because it is higher than this particular area. And then we have a higher low. This probably isn't a good example, but here's another higher high. And then a higher low. It's not necessarily higher than this low, but again, you can just see that it's an obvious upward movement. All right. And so then let's just go over this direction. And we'll see that this is like a downtrend. The market is moving down. And so let me just kind of help you to visually see again, there's that down movement. All right. And it is, so we've got this high right here. However, there's a lower low because it's going down. And then we have this high. It's a lower high because it is lower than this specific high. Excuse me. This high is lower than this high. So it makes it a lower high. Then I have a lower low because it is lower than this particular low. And then we have this high, which is a lower high because it is lower than this high. And it just continues going in that cycle. Okay. All right. And so then we have the sideways movement when the market is moving sideways. So it's kind of like something of the like. It's just kind of moving again sideways. There's a slight little upness to it, but overall, it's not like really a strong move. It doesn't have a strong pattern. It's just kind of like in between a particular zone. So let me do it like this instead. Okay. So I want to highlight the the area that is just moving sideways. Okay, whatever, you get the point. All right. So what I want for you to do is to pause the video and look for these three things in the market. All I'm looking for is like this sideways movement, and then for you to identify one, the sideways, two, finding something that goes down like this. And then if you're able to see those peaks that's like this, if you will highlight those, and then if you will also find your uptrend like this and highlight uh your higher highs, your higher lows, just as I have right here. And once you've done that, you can resume the video. All right. So again, pause right here and then come back once you've done that area. Okay. So the next part we are going to identify is what's called the obvious levels. All right. So let me erase this. All right. Bring this back over. And so now we are looking for, when I say obvious levels, we're looking for areas that have a strong move, either stopping or starting. So, for instance, like this right here is a pretty strong move. So, I'm just going to highlight that. And then maybe this was a strong move because, it kind of just comes up, boom, and then it comes down, boom. And then maybe it comes up here, kind of a strong move, boom. And we can add maybe one right here as well. And then we're going to do something that's called the frequency level. So these are kind of like where the market has stopped and started multiple times. So it's like it has hit a specific area multiple times. So, like for instance, I mean, although I have this one marked, um, it hit right, price has hit right here in this area, and it has also hit boom, boom, boom in this area as well. Then we have maybe something like this possibly because it market has hit right here. It's also hit right here. It's kind of hit a little in this area, just kind of all along here. All right. And so that's just, oh, and I might want to capture this in some type of way too. Yeah. Okay. So if you will just pause the video and if you will look on for those obvious levels, again, like the big zigzag, and if it helps, you can use um, right here at the bottom of the screen is called a path tool. And so you can use this tool and it can kind of help guide you on maybe some of the strong, obvious moves to help with putting your levels. So, kind of, I don't know if that helps any at all, but you see, kind of too, like where I made those strong peaks and valleys, it has pretty much kind of hit those particular levels. All right. And so, again, then you want to do like your frequency levels. So, where the price has hit multiple times, some of those peaks and those valleys have hit um, in the same area. All right. And so pause the video and identify, and give me at least three areas. All right. So now that we're back, what we'll do, I'm gonna take away the zigzag tool. And what I forgot to mention too, well, never mind, disregard. Okay. So now what we're going to do is, so in the very beginning, you may have noticed that I had chopped off some of the market. And so now what we're going to do is let the market play out. Oh, I want to add a level here. Sorry. We're going to let the market play out and see how the remaining market hits these particular levels. And I'm actually going to mark where we started. So we'll have some type of comparison. So this is an area where we started, and then we're just going to press the play button and see what happens. I'm actually going to mark this area. I think it was maybe right here where we started. As you see so far, if I hopefully I remember the pattern right. But anyways, I think we started here, but the market is hitting the levels. I mean, this is one of the frequency levels. So you see how market continues to hit on that one particular level, whether it's hitting it or it's going through it. And so too, also remember when we were talking about the market moving up and down. So right, and also moving sideways is kind of, again, it's kind of just staggering this particular line. So we've got some consolidation, some sideways movement right here. And then as we were talking about the market moving down, look at there, we've got we've got this high right here, and then we've got a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Oh, this is still a lower high. It's making a higher high. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, well, we'll be doing this for forever just because since I cut off um 1,000 candles, and right now it's just at August 8th. So what we'll do is once this plays out, we'll see a comparison of where price hit on our levels.